Hey, what's up, fantasy managers? What's the age of range for wide receivers to score the most fantasy points? What age do they blow up? What age do they decline? And what is the particular age that they have a chance to go nuclear? I did the research. I want to share it with you. I know you're interested. Stick around for 7 seconds. It's important to care about wide receiver's age. In dynasty leagues, by knowing when a player is set for a decline, you can look at you trading away the player while they still have value. In redraft leagues, you don't want to draft an older wide receiver set to regress in the top rounds. I have information from the last 20 years of what ages wide receivers have their most productive season, their prime years. The research is from ApexFantasyLegend.com with my little tweaks added. But remember, age is just one factor. Quarterback, offensive line, volume is all part of a wide receiver success. Okay, so this image shows how many wide receivers score at least 220 PPR points and at what age since 2000. 225 points is top 21 for wide receivers in 2023. DK Metcalf is wide receiver 21 with 225 points last year. If a player plays all 17 games, he will need to average 13 points a game to finish the year with 225 points. Since 2000, only 3 wide receivers have scored at least 225 points as a 21-year-old. First player was Mike Evans, then Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. The oldest player to hit the 225-point mark was Jerry Rice as a 39-year-old and again at 40 years old. There's a large drop-off from age 29 to 30. And even though Adam Thielen hit 231 points last season as a 33-year-old, becomes rare to accomplish starting age 32. Only 6% of wide receivers hit the 225 mark after age 31 since 2000. The most common age, the peak prime, is 26. That's the most common age wide receivers are top 21. Mike Evans and Devante Adams will be 31 years old at the start of the season. Since 2000, 20 wide receivers have hit the 225 mark at the age of 31, so basically one a year. Tyler Lockett scored 237 points at the age of 30 in 2022 and scored 202 last season as 31 years old. Keenan Allen scored 278 points as a 31-year-old but couldn't finish the season. Out of the top 21 wide receivers, there are 12 wide receivers who scored 225 PPR points in 2022 and 2023. And they are CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Devante Adams, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper, Jamar Chase, Brandon Aiyuk, DK Metcalf, and Mike Evans. Compared to running backs, there are more wide receivers who score consistent fantasy points in back-to-back seasons. From those 12 that I listed, there's only one who hit the top 20 in both years and is a wide receiver 2 on the team, Devonta Smith. The graph shows a big jump in fantasy scoring from the age 21 to 22. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Rome Odunze will both be 22 at the start of the 2024 season and both have top 10 draft capital. So the image you're seeing now is a graph of how many wide receivers scored at least 258 PPR points and at what age. This is considered elite scoring. Scoring 258 points in a season, it's top 12. Nico Collins was wide receiver 12 with 260 points in 2023. About 9 wide receivers a year scored 258 points or more, while no wide receiver over the age of 31 has finished in the top 12 since Larry Fitzgerald in 2017 when he was 34. Last season, Keenan Allen is the first to do it in the last 8 years as a 31-year-old. The article did say Devante Adams was 31 years old and hit the mark, but his birthday is December 24th. He only played 2 games as a 31-year-old. That's cheating, and I'm not counting it, okay? So there is a big jump from age 22 to 23. Puka Nacua had elite scoring as a 22-year-old and will be 23 in this upcoming season. He gets an increased chance to have elite scoring again because of his age. The prime ages are 25 to 28, but just under 50% are inside that range. Obviously, these players get a lot of volume. There are 6 wide receivers who scored 258 or more PPR points in 2022 and 2023. CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Devante Adams, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. If we want to go back even further, Adams, Diggs, and Hill are the only wide receivers who score at least 258 points for 3 straight seasons. These 6 wide receivers that I'm about to discuss were in the top 21 in 2023 and now considered past their prime according to the data. Devante Adams, age 30, scored 265 points in 2023, and yet it is considered a down year. Fewest touchdowns and receiving yards since 2019, but now at 31 years old, I'm not worried about him losing speed. He was never considered a fast wide receiver anyway with a 4.56 40 time. but he is one of the best route runners in the NFL, and his volume is ridiculous. As a Raider, he averaged 177 targets a year, but he only had 117 catchable targets last season. I don't think signing Gardner Minshew is an upgrade at quarterback. His current ADP is 18th. As a 31-year-old with bad quarterbacks, that is too rich for someone I don't believe will have elite scoring, but Adams will be in the top 21 because of his volume. Mike Evans at age 30 was wide receiver 7 with 282 points. This one is tricky because I believe a lot of Tampa Bay success came from their ex-OC Dave Canales. I call him Dave because we're on a first name basis, but Dave has moved on. But every year, Evans still manages 1,000 receiving yards. And Evans has a good history of scoring 8 or more touchdowns. And Baker Mayfield knows the weapons he has, as Evans was first in deep targets last season. I believe we'll see a drop in receptions, but touchdowns to stay around 8 to 10. His current ADP is 28th at 31 years old. And I think he could have elite scoring again, so that is considered a steal. Keenan Allen at age 31 was wide receiver 8 with 278 points in 2023. This guy was another type of player who didn't rely on speed, but is an amazing route runner. Allen's 4.71 40 time gives me courage to drop the donuts and try out for the Chargers. I have a childhood to support, damn it. But he was great last year, and Tyler liked him.
I like Keenan Allen, man. What round did you get Keenan Allen in?
I got him in the 4th.
Yeah, because usually I'm getting Hawkinson, Ridley, or... No, dude, I like Keenan Allen, man. I like Keenan Allen in the 4th, but
everything aligned for Allen last year as he had a 29.9% target share in a Kellen Moore system. Now he's sharing the field with DJ Moore and Roma Doomsday. He'll get receptions, but I expect his yards per route run to drop outside the top 15. 9 wide receivers since 2000 have scored 258 plus points at the age of 32. And Allen's situation is not good as it was last season. His current ADP is 69th. At 32 years old, which is fine because he might not score more than 225 points this season. Adam Thielen at age 33 was wide receiver 17 with 231 points scored last year. He is one of 10 to accomplish that since 2000, and only 8 have done it at age 32. There was a moment where Thielen almost turned into a league winner, but really died off in the second half of the season. He was first in snaps in the slot with a 7.5 average depth of target, which ranked 89th. And his yards per route run was 46th overall. While earning only 86% of his expected fantasy points, I believe we will see him in a retirement home before we see him in the top 21 again. His current ADP is outside round 10 at age 34, and that is fine because he's not going to be scoring 225 points. Before we continue on, if you made it this far and if you're enjoying the information in this video, if you could please hit the subscribe, smash the like, even leave a comment. Anything, everything goes a long way for us. We appreciate all you guys. And if you could also click the little ring button so you get a notification anytime our future videos come out so you won't miss it. These next 13 wide receivers I will be discussing were in the top 21 in 2023 and are either staying or entering their prime. I'll share if I believe if they have a chance to repeat the top 21 or top 12 performances they had the previous year. I won't discuss the obvious elites like CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The only way they don't have elite scoring is if their season is filled with injuries. Puka Nacua at age 22 was wide receiver 4 with 298 points in 2023. Nacua had an amazing season. The issue was Nakua's lack of touchdowns last year. He had 6. Kupp had 5 in 12 games. Kupp had more red zone targets as well. There is a big scoring jump from age 22 to 23. Plus, Nacua will get the historic jump for second-year wide receivers as well. His current ADP is 11th. At age 23, and that's too high for me because Stafford looks for Kupp more in the red zone. Nacua needs touchdowns for elite scoring, and maybe some Benadryl in case he is allergic to the end zone. A.J. Brown at age 26 was wide receiver 5 with 289 points in 2023. I have no doubt Brown will have elite scoring in 2024. 26-year-olds have hit the elite scoring mark the most since 2000. This dude has 6 straight games over 125 receiving yards, and that's unheard of. And the Eagles paid Brown to stay in town and catch balls from all around. Something like that. His current ADP is 9, and it's fitting. DJ Moore was wide receiver 6 with 286 points in 2023. Caleb Williams thrives on scrambling his eggs and throwing his bacon into the end zone for big plays. And DJ Moore will be a big part of those spectacular plays. He starts the season at age 27 with a current overall ADP of 46. This is a steal with potential elite scoring with double-digit touchdowns. Jamar Chase was wide receiver 11 with 262 points. The dude can ball out. He has posted two 50-point games in his career. The only thing can stop him is Joe Burrow's health. He is 24 years old and his current ADP is 5th. I prefer him 2 spots back, but still pretty good ADP. He can be a top 3 wide receiver at the end of the year. Nico Collins was wide receiver 12 with 260 points. It took him until the age of 24 to break out because of injuries and quarterback play. Now he has CJ Stroud and was 2nd in yards per route run. His age is 25 and his current ADP is 36 overall. I considered this a steal. I'm not afraid of Stephon Diggs. Age 25 has the 2nd most wide receivers to score elite numbers since 2000. Michael Pittman Jr. was wide receiver 12 with 250 points. Back-to-back years with 4 receiving touchdowns. But he could be the most targeted wide receiver on the Colts and have many chances to improve his touchdown total from 2023. He is 26 years old, and his current ADP is 28th overall. At this spot, he will be the wide receiver 2 on your team and has a great chance of scoring 258 points because of his opportunities and peak prime age. Brandon Aiyuk was wide receiver 14 with 249 points. The 49ers as a team were too efficient last year, and individuals are expected to regress. The 49ers will still win a lot of games, but I expect to see more passing because last season they were at the bottom of the barrel in passing attempts with 491. Aiyuk is the best route runner on the team and will receive the extra targets in 2024. Ayuk's age is 26 and ADP is 41st overall. I believe if he continues to fall, he can become a league winner as he can be a top 10 wide receiver in his prime. Deebo Samuel Jr. was wide receiver 15 and scored 243 points. Samuel had 5 rushing touchdowns and an average of 6.1 yards per carry. Rushing touchdowns are probably the hardest stat to predict for wide receivers. He is 28 years old. His current ADP is 43rd overall. Age 28 is considered the last year of wide receiver's prime because Deebo is eventually going to slow down and not juke as many tackles. As of right now, he is considered a good pick in the 4th round. Chris Olave was wide receiver 16 with 231 points. This will be his 3rd year, and he is the number 1 wide receiver on the Saints. Plus, he is Derek Carr's favorite wide receiver by far. The problem is they don't have a great offense, and Olave lacks touchdowns. Plus, they overuse their running backs near the goal line. Olave is 24 years old, and with a current ADP of 21st overall, only 18 wide receivers since 2000 has scored 258 points at age 24, but I don't think Olave will be one of them. I pass him at this ADP every time. Calvin Ridley was wide receiver 18 with 229 points. A disappointing year as Ridley and Trevor Lawrence had a difficult time connecting throughout the 2023 season. Sometimes the expected outcome is different for players in their primes because they can't get the ball to them. Now he is 29, and that is when there is a drop-off from players scoring at an elite level. His current ADP is 65th overall, and because of his age and opportunities in Tennessee, he might miss 225 points, so I'll pass him up. Devonta Smith was wide receiver 19 and scored 227 points. He barely made the cut off for the top 21, but this year they have a new offensive coordinator who specializes in wide receiver scoring. It doesn't matter if you're wide receiver 1 or 2, Smith will get the bump this year. He is age 25, and his current ADP is 48th overall. This is a perfect spot for Smith as he will score more than 225 points again with enough upside to be close to elite scoring. Amari Cooper was wide receiver 20 with 227 points. I believe his elite scoring days are over as only 15 wide receivers at the age of 30 has scored at an elite level since 2000. And Cooper's quarterback situation is a little strange. Amari had really bad games played with Watson. His current ADP is 69th. I believe it's still a little high because of the players around him in the middle of the 5th round. DK Metcalf was wide receiver 21 with 225 points. We saw the Seahawks take a dive last year. It was a different Geno Smith than the one we saw in 2022. Metcalf was 2nd, then 6th in red zone targets the last 2 years. The connection has been difficult to find between Metcalf and Geno. New offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb is hoping to make things simpler between the two. Metcalf is 26 years old, the age where most wide receivers had elite scoring seasons, and his current ADP is 37th overall. This is a great spot for DK since he is considered in his peak prime and will be in a more pass-happy offense. These next 4 wide receivers are in their prime and have a good chance of scoring 225 points in 2024. I believe 1 or 2 of these wide receivers have a good shot at elite scoring because of their volume and offense. Justin Jefferson was wide receiver 33 with 202 points. He did miss 7 games and still averaged 20 points per game. He was on pace to set career highs as a 24-year-old. Now he's in his prime. He appears to be quarterback proof since he posted 26 and 36 points with Nick Mullen as the QB. He is the best wide receiver in the league. In their prime, it's safe to say he'll score 225 points, and it might be close, but it's highly possible for Jefferson to have elite scoring with Sam Darnold. Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry. Scary Terry. Scary Terry. The only thing scary about Terry is drafting him. He was wide receiver 31 with 203 points. He hasn't been inside the top 20 points per game since 2020, but you can chalk that up as poor quarterback play. Last season, he was 76th in catchable target rate. 45 out of 130 targets were deemed uncatchable. Now he has Jaden Daniels, who keeps drives alive with his running, which means McLaurin will be on the field more, which leads to more snaps, which leads to more opportunities to score. Also, Daniels' completion percentage was 72% last season at LSU, and the Commanders added offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. McLaurin is 28 and considered in the last year of his prime, and I expect him to have his best year. Garrett Wilson was 26 with 213 points. Yeah, I felt that. I drafted him in the second round last year too. We have not seen Wilson's final form, not his true potential yet. He went through 3 quarterbacks last year who are currently either backups on the team or not playing. He still managed 4th most targets, but 68% were deemed catchable. That's 65th worst in the league. I'm very bullish on Mr. Wilson with, fingers crossed, healthy Aaron Rodgers. Wilson is entering his prime at age 24 and is set to produce elite scoring. Diontae Johnson was wide receiver 45 with 152 points. He missed 5 games with a hamstring injury, but I believe he was a faker. Shoot, I would be faking it too. I wouldn't want to play with quarterbacks like Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, or Mason Rudolph. We can make a video about bad quarterback plays just from this list. Earning volume reflects talent, and Johnson is 7th in total targets since entering the league, but his catchable target rate was 70th overall. 66% of targets were deemed uncatchable. Now he's in Carolina with Dave as head coach, the quarterback guru the past 2 seasons. Word is he is the go-to receiver for Bryce Young already, and Johnson can be used in all formations. Johnson is in his last prime year, and I believe he will be capable of scoring 225 points in the new Panthers offense. But he can go as far as Bryce Young's arm take him, and I'm not sure that will be elite scoring. Now, we know what age to draft wide receivers. The prime years are 25 through 28, with a peak prime at age 26. Ages outside 25 through 28 are still capable to perform under the right circumstances, but are less likely to hit the elite scoring mark. It's something to think about when preparing for your draft. It's another way to look like a genius in front of your friends. If you want to know who the fantasy beasts are this year and where to find them, click this video right here. You'll know everything you need to know about how to win the league. Plus, you'll see our MVPs for the season. I'll talk to you in that video. Deuces.